Just recently, an amazing discovery underneath the pyramids has been revealed. Multiple massive 2-kilometer-long pylons have been found stretching from the bottom of the pyramids down into and through the bedrock. On top of that, this discovery is showing what appears to be an opening or massive chamber the size of a city, starting below Giza, but taking up the entire space of the Giza plateau. Utilizing ground-penetrating radar, 2 researchers were able to pull scans from below the pyramid showing very clearly what appears to be massive structures and chambers going as deep as 2 kilometers. These pillars are massive, extending 2 kilometers underneath the ground. There were 8 massive pillars, all with metal coils spiraling up around them. Each of the pillars looks as if there is a wire spiraling around them, heading upward, similar to an electromagnetic magnet, or like a copper coil spiraling upward around a Duracell battery. Each of the pillars has this image. Please see below. Scientists have not figured out what the purpose of these pillars are, but one idea I heard watching Elizabeth April, who is a remote viewer, states that the pillars are energy storage units, or energy generators. They are hydraulic energy tools in that the water comes in somewhere and is compressed or stored in some way with the pillars, which are hollow. The coils also serve as walkways. As the water pours over these structures or in them, the coils around them, or the spring, will spring up and down depending on the need or the actual setup. The weight of the water on the spring and the pillars, whether as a static energy generating device or the movement of the springs and the water as one option, could be how they would be used. They also look just like an electromagnetic magnet. They could have been used to store charges of electromagnetic energy or simply to transmit them. Either way, the components are all there for as such. They also have uncovered what appears to be an underground city as well. This new radar technology, which is used from space, has brought all of these things and more to the table for our society to digest. There also appears to be a sophisticated subterranean tunnel network which might be connected to an ancient water system. This network could be a system of tunnels and passages that connect to different places across the globe. Some have inferred that there is a tunnel down at the bottom that goes deeper down into inner Earth for a distance that seems to have no end. Some are saying that this tunnel is a tunnel to inner Earth. But this is just one of many. There is a whole history to be uncovered here, and it is up to us to display as much as possible. There are already many signs of there being attempts to suppress this information. From comments on Reddit being deleted to comments from the community being erased, to other measures that are being censored. I have personally researched much on this topic, and it is important that if one wants to see the full picture, well, the full picture needs to be shown. One common thing that those who censor have done is to just display one element of the discovery. Yet with this discovery, it is not going to be possible to hide what I am going to say next. From below this pyramid to what has been discovered around, within, and connected to the Sphinx, I am going to show a bird's eye view of what is going on. From massive pillars anchoring the pyramid into the bedrock, and then chambers beneath that which are large enough for an entire city to exist beneath, to a tunnel network system spreading out beneath underground, and to an ancient water system, there is a lot here to break down. This discovery should blow the covers of censorship right off their tops, permanently showing that our history is not what it has been pushed on us to believe. The structures are showing that these could at least be 10,000 years old minimum. Proof that they had electricity has surfaced in multiple ways, and how it was used back then. The tunnel network is showing to be like that of an ancient Egyptian subway, with subway cars that were luxuriously and elegantly decorated. And there is even more. Recently, the discovery of ancient structures beneath the pyramids at Giza has brought an awe to the public and the masses. Much of these discoveries are helping people to see that perhaps we were nothing like we've been told we were in our history books. The architecture found underneath the pyramids is at least 10,000 years old, And it's just proving to show that our past and forgotten past has had civilizations that had technologies far more advanced than what we could possibly even dream of. And this also goes to show that the intelligence of the human being was not just some simple hunter-gatherer, as the common narrative likes to push on us. We have a much more divine, rich, beautiful, majestic history that is available to discover in certain ways on this planet, just as it is available within each and every individual, because it's written in their own DNA. Whether searching within yourself, one needs simply but to ask and one shall receive, or searching the internet, the answers are out there for those who seek. I want to draw some attention today on this video to a different perspective. In this perspective, I want to paint a picture where our past was one that was mixed very much so at different times with extraterrestrials or stellar races. Mixed at different times where these stellar races came down to assist us. We have a lot of mysterious ancient structures that we can't really figure out how they were built, yet it could be a combination of humans and extraterrestrial knowledge or wisdom that brought these structures to be. The point of this video is to bring about a new concept, and this concept is that of a planetary civilization. Believe it or not, this was actually much more common than it is currently suppressed to be. There were many past civilizations that were planetary civilizations, and not just the ones that are the most commonly said, like Atlantis and Lemuria. But to begin, Atlantis and Lemuria were two that were planetary civilizations, all operating under a different type of unity than I believe anything we've ever seen. The Egyptian civilization, which was a branch off from Atlantis, because Atlantis went down under the waters, was a continuation of the Atlantis civilization. But it wasn't always the Egyptians who created this planetary civilization, or as we know them to be in our history. I'm just talking about the area Egypt, because it's to my knowledge that those pyramids and most of what you see there was not created by the Egyptians. Just like the pyramids in South America and Mexico or Central America were not created by the Mayans, but by a group that came before them. There were many planetary civilizations in our history, and Tartaria was one of them. The reason we never hear about planetary civilizations is because we are not the ones writing our history book. The deep state has been always in control of that, so they have been writing what they want us to believe since the public school system began, initially started by the Rothschild family. I believe we've had so many planetary civilizations. China has had a large number of planetary civilizations. India has had a number of planetary civilizations, and particularly that of the Tamil culture from Kumari Kingdom, which went under the waters as well in the past. This was a large continent below India that sunk underneath the waters, and there are many texts that speak of this continent and their culture which still exists to this day, as the Tamil culture from southern India. There have been hundreds of golden ages on this planet. Don't you find it interesting that we don't have in our history books? Really, not even one that really compares to how they really were. This is like this because the deep state's tactic to divide and conquer has always tried to keep us separated, whether it be through our languages, through our physical locations, or even through the color of our skin, because there really is no separation in truth, and in the end, we're all humans, one species. And yes, we're all family. From that regard, believe the Persia Empire or civilization was a planetary civilization as well at one point. There are even times when these planetary civilizations that we had even went beyond just the planet of Earth, where we might have even populated other areas in the universe under one planetary name. I urge any of those watching this video to try to really honestly think back and see how you feel when it comes to envisioning a worldwide civilization. What would it look like? How would it operate? It's actually my belief that a lot of our historic ancient civilizations, many of which were world civilizations, it's just that that has been somehow edited from our history books so that we wouldn't even think that way. Because when we start thinking that way, different things start happening and different thoughts start happening. And I believe that now is the time to start considering this, as we will be moving into that very soon as we become a member of the galactic community within our local universe. This being one of the prerequisites in and becoming, and to being accepted in that galactic interplanetary community. We have to have enough unity to be a planetary community or civilization. And that's what can allow us to be accepted into the galactic community amongst our fellow star and stellar races or neighboring extraterrestrials, because that's how all planetary civilizations who evolve operate at their highest. And this is going to be the step that we're going to be moving into next.